All right, it's your boy Conserviz 34 coming to you live from the crib. The last live stream I did was back on, I believe it was, may have been 2 Saturdays ago. Let me check as people come in. But I've been rather busy this week. Um, just busy in general with different things in the summertime because it's coming to an end here very soon here. We got really one more month of summer weather. What was my last stream was August 3rd. Okay. Yeah, so last stream was August 3rd, which was 2 Saturdays ago. Like I said, I've been pretty busy. But we'll be talking about some DMB stuff today. Talking about my excitement for the Gorge. And if you saw on Twitter, we'll definitely be talking about Live Tracks 42. Some of the things I observed there. Let me just see if I can adjust this. Okay. We'll let people kind of get in, say hello if you come in. We'll let people get in. Started about 10 minutes late, 9, 10 here. We got 2 people in. All right, 3 people in. All right. Oh no, it looks like there's some thunderstorms coming. So as people are still coming in, this has been a busy week, crazy day. I ran 13 point. I think it was 4 miles today. There's a huge line of thunderstorms about to come. If power gets knocked out, the stream disconnects, just know we got all of that coming to Connecticut right now. Wow. But yeah, so I ran 13 miles today, and that actually goes, or 13.4. It was long, but that actually goes hand in hand with the Live Tracks 42 that I was able to get my hands on here over the weekend, and just a heck of a Live Tracks. There's so many of them. I know some people just get them all at once, but I just had never gotten this Live Tracks. Just never. There's some that stand out, like people that you have to buy, and I mean this is probably one of them that I would recommend. But just a great show, and we're going to talk about some of the things that went on with Live Tracks 42 that I really liked and was really impressed with. For those of you who are going to the Gorge, this is just another reminder. Let me know. Hey, let's have a meetup. Let's meet up on the lawn. Definitely be lawn first night. Looking for seats night 2. I'm going to finish on the lawn as has been recommended. I want to have that amazing view. DMB Mamas is on. And we're going to talk about A Dream So Real as she requested here. And just some other things. But I will be going to the Gorge. Excited for that. Looking now, temperatures are looking like they'll peak in the 90s during the day, but it'll cool down at night. But it's dry heat. So I'm gonna be prepared for have a sweatshirt in the bag, in the travel bag, just in case. But I'm excited. I'll be going to the Gorge. If you're in the area, there's baseball and there's football. So you have the Yankees come to town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before the week before the Gorge. I'll be going on Wednesday. I'm excited for that. I'm a diehard Yankees fan. The fact that it lined up, this is how I knew it was. This is how I knew it was meant to be. Is I say I'm going to the Gorge this year, and my favorite baseball team is playing the Mariners the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before. I'm not selling ticks, GMB Mamas, but I think if you really wanted to go, The ticks would be the least of your worries. The travel and the flying are the two biggest things, which I'm finding out. I reserved some stuff in advance for the weekend, but getting stuff during the week last minute. And, the beaches are, I'm going to Oregon, and the beach fronts, which I should have known, but the beach fronts are crazy. So I'm getting staying a little ways away from the beach in Oregon. Going to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho as well during part of the trip so I can hit up Idaho. Probably won't make it to Missoula, Montana. That was another idea, but I'm going to be exhausted and also going to be in the Seattle area for Yankees, Red Sox. So just some exciting things there. And again, if you are going to the Gorge, message me, Twitter, not Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and YouTube. We'll have to meet up on the lawn. And excuse me, man. This run was brutal today. I'm someone who's ran a bunch of half marathons, and I've run 2 marathons. The half marathon race training run today, just I've been eating too many sweets, and I haven't been running as much. And the older you get, your belly nice doesn't get as firm, and your legs and your muscles aren't as great. And I was like, this is what I feel like when I'm 35 and I'm only 28. But I gotta make the changes to be better if I want to still run as fast. That's the thing. I can still run and eat unhealthy food every now and then. But anyway, all right. So we got about 4 people in. Comment if you're here. I only see DB Mamas. I know there's 4 viewers here. But we'll start off with the live show on Friday. Live show, Des Moines, Iowa. No. Now, Ari said Benny Abs is here. Best half marathon time, I think it's like 147. It's in the mid 140s. Yeah, mid 140s. That was last year in the rain in Hartford. Hartford in the rain. That was my best time. Today was the slowest I've ever ran, 13.1, which was around like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was brutal. It was pretty humid. And then I don't know. Like I said, my training has not been consistent. And then my best full is I think it was like under 4:30. I ran with the 4 hours and 30-minute team, but I started behind them in a crowd of about 12,000 people. So I think it was like 4:27. I think I got, and the other one was like 4 in the 4:40s. It was like, so that one was tough for my second one, but yeah. So, but the Friday night streams, Ari, who works for SiriusXM, said he was going for. Oh, Benny has NYC. I know someone who's running NYC through a Grateful Dead running group. Yeah, that lottery. NYC and Boston are the big ones here in Connecticut or for people here, but Boston is a crazy time. I know one friend of a friend who ran it. We were in a wedding party together, and we've gone to a couple of shows through our mutual friend. And dude is fast. I can't even qualify for like the 80-year-old male restrictions. I mean, like, I could really, at best, I could probably do 4:20 if I did a couple marathons of training. But Iowa, yeah. So Ari from SiriusXM said that allegedly, I didn't see the poll, I didn't see the feedback. Maybe I just wasn't following him as like I was looking at every tweet of his. He was asking fans what they wanted to hear during this break, and Des Moines, Iowa was like the #1 vote getter from the comments and messages that he got. So they played it, and it's a heck of a show. It's a heck of a show, and it was at a time where people were guessing if this band was gonna really have a above average year, if it was just going to be a year where you're going to get great energy. The energy wasn't the problem, but what type of sets are we going to get? And in Des Moines, in the middle of nowhere weekday show, they busted out a bunch of tour debuts. Stone, and they had a recently there, and they had Fish Tender. As far as the debuts for the summer tour, because they had played some of that overseas. But a heck of a show, and it was great to hear it. And with SiriusXM, there's a couple things there's a couple, not a couple of things, but when they play a rebroadcast of something from previously in the year, it sounds pretty solid. When they play it live at the show, the quality has not been great. It's been pretty brutal. And I thought it was just me, maybe my speakers. I don't have that much of a detailed system in my car or my speakers over here and a bass whoop subwoofer. I mean, they're pretty basic. It's almost like computer speakers. Like it's not really like a full system of like a sound system speaker. But nonetheless, they've been brutal. People have been complaining about them. It sounds like sometimes you're like listening to the show from like if you were in an arena, you're listening to it from the concourse where it sounds a little bit muffled. But when they do the ones that are already finished, these are from they're in the archive from this year, earlier in the year, they sound better. Well, some of the Europe ones were hit and miss as well, but the Des Moines, Iowa one sounded great. So I mean, you can't really complain about that. Now, SiriusXM is, and I may do a video on this next week or in the future. There's mixed reviews now. SiriusXM at this point, as we hit August 17th, it'll be gone next month in about just under a month, I think. Some people are complaining about the variety. Someone had mentioned they kind of played a song twice, literally, I think either back to back or within a couple of songs they played the same song. So someone may be asleep at the controls there. But I think that it's better than last year. The selections are better than last year. We've gotten, which we'll talk about later, Dreams So Real. We've gotten Toy Soldiers in the Warehouse. And just deep cuts from D&B Live 25 and some of the other live tracks. So they are playing some deep cuts. It's not just the last year they didn't go that deep. And it was really the same 4 or 5 live tracks you kept hearing in rotation. Now we're getting everything. I mean, there was some D&B Live content. So D&B Live is difference between live tracks and D&B Live. Live tracks has individual kind of sound from each individual player or instrument. So it's a multi-track. It's multi-track recordings, meaning they can control the levels of different people. The D&B Lives are from older eras of the band from the early 90s. Some of them are in the late 90s, but they're single. It's a single track, meaning they don't have one for Carter, one for this or that. It's just coming right from the soundboard, and that's all you have. You can't modify the levels of one instrument over another. So that D&B Live is a separate one, but you're going to get some of these classic vintage shows before they started really having lots of multi-track songs or multi-track shows. But anyway, they were playing some D&B Live shows like Cameron Indoor Stadium, which is a very rare special one there. Where I believe they had the 41 Police, which was like the 41 before 41. It was called 41 Police, and it's just a really early version of it in 95. So they are doing more of that. But the reality is, and this is why I may make a video, you're not going to get this radio station is for the casual fan. It's not for the diehard fan per se, except on Fridays where you get the full stream. And some people are saying, well, they want it to be like Fish Radio. They want it to be like Grateful Dead Radio. And here's the thing. There's a wider range of fans that D&B Radio has to cater to. They can't just be an archive type. We're going to play all these shows every day. We're going to play these deep shows from 93 and 94 that no one's really heard of except if you're a really hardcore fan or you traded tapes back in the day. Here's the thing. The Grateful Dead have one hit that made the Billboard Top 40. If anyone can name it, go ahead, put it in there. What's the one Grateful Dead song that cracked the top 40 singles chart? If anyone knows, type it in now. There's only one of them. One. D&B has albums that have multiple songs that have cracked the top 40 and top 10 of stuff. One song. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. If anyone knows that Grateful Dead song, it was a single that topped the top 40 in the hottest 40 songs Yes, DMB Mama is correct. Touch of Grey, the only song that has cracked the top 40. So just by that, you should understand why DMB radio cannot be like Grateful Dead radio. They have a lot of hits. Now the Grateful Dead they sold out stadiums for a longer period than DMB ever did. Matter of fact, DMB opened up for them in a couple of shows, specifically Las Vegas, Nevada, Sam Boyd Stadium, home of the Nevada University of Nevada Running Rebels. So they were playing stadiums from the late 70s in racetracks and large crowds from the late 70s, mid to late 70s, 80s, and then 90s. They were playing football stadiums. DMB played football stadiums from about 1998 to about, I mean, you're talking about football stadiums, you're talking about 2003, 2004, if that. And then they play baseball parks, which, have about 20, 30,000 less people, depending on the ballpark. And they did that for a little bit from 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. And then back in 2010 as well, I believe you had the Citi Field. But the point is, the Grateful Dead have a large fan base. Are larger than DMB. Now that fan base is, unfortunately, the older fans are getting to their last years. But that fan base sold out stadiums. But it was about the deep cuts. It was about these special songs you didn't hear live. So they catered to their fan base, which is not about the hits. There is not really a hit. There's songs that are more popular, like Franklin's Tower, Estimated Profit. But other stuff, it's like you have to either be in the Deadhead community or know someone who's in it to know some of that stuff or not. You have to be in the jam band community and know that your favorite jam band covers the Grateful Dead, or you're not. Or you had to grow up during that time where they were like in the 80s. I didn't. I grew up in the 90s. But with Dave Matthews Band, I was young when they came out, but I still know Satellite, Ants Marching. Like when I started to listen to them in the mid 2000s, I knew what songs were popping. So I say all of that in way too long of an explanation to say this. They're not just, they have to cater to people. There are fans of this band, which is unique. There are fans of this band that have been fans since the early 90s that love the hits. They just want to hear the hits. They like the old stuff too, and they may be excited to get something they've been chasing, but they would love Ants, Crash Into Me. They love the hits that this band does. So that's what they play a lot. You're going to get the singles and the hits. You're going to get the songs like Come Tomorrow, which is like such a positive upbeat song, because that's what people want to hear. Now, there's fans like me that I love the positive stuff, but I like the dark stuff that turns into positive better. I like the dark stuff that just stays dark better. The Stone, I'll take the Stone over anything over Before He's Cried the Street. But someone who likes more of the mainstream stuff would love to say, I'll pick Stay or Rapunzel. So, I mean, there's different angles they have to fill. And people who are going to tune into DMB radio, a lot of them want the hits. A lot of them may have been chasing around DMB in the 2000s and they had a family and they don't really go to shows anymore. That's the market. And I had discussions with some people on DMB family and they were, I was listening to different points. I was explaining my points. There's not much you can leverage against management. And people are saying, well, management, Red Light also runs Fish and they run DMB. But what management is going to do is they're going to have a portfolio for each individual artist. So even though Red Light has Fish Radio for Fish, the whole fan base is about deep cut. There's no hits for Fish. There may be a couple songs that are kind of they're known by, or people cover, like other bands cover them, like younger jam bands cover this song or that song, Tweezer, or what have you. But it's a different portfolio. And some people are like, and some people were even complaining about DMB radio and the live tracks that are on Spotify and Apple Music. Why don't they do more of that? Well, the other thing is with DMB radio is they have to protect their live track series, and it's actually smart. Instead of playing full live tracks on the DMB radio, they play a song. The reason being is they want you to buy that live tracks or, try to make a purchase of a couple songs from the live tracks or do what you can to get that live tracks, even if it's through a friend. They want to put value in the physically buying of live tracks. They give you the first 20 for free on Sirius. And someone's complaining, why can't they do 30 to 21 to 30 or 21 to 35? Well, again, what's the upside? Are you gonna not go to the band? And that's the thing is people are like, oh, I'm leaving Sirius, and that's fine. Some people are leaving it because they have no use, and that is a fine reason. If you're not having use out of it, leave. It's expensive. After the free trial, it can add up to $10 a month. For $10 a month, I have an Apple Music subscription, and I can listen to anything I want. And I tell you this, the sports radio stuff has commercials. The radio stations do repeat themselves because they have different time zones. They want to get each time zone a chance to get exclusive content. So they will have a studio session where you hear this live studio session they did at the XM Studios of, Dwayne Allman. I mean, not Dwayne Allman, Greg Allman. Excuse me. Rest in peace. Both Dwayne and Greg. But they may have there's like Greg Allman sessions, and there's also like Warren Haynes sessions, and you'll hear them a lot because they're trying to promote that exclusive content. But that's because people are in different time zones. So XM is not for everyone. XM, even though it's satellite radio in general, it profits when they play more mainstream stuff and more just familiar stuff outside of the Fish Radio and the Grateful Dead radio and some of the jam. The classic rock stuff, they play a lot of the same stuff every week. The old R&B stuff, they play a lot of the same stuff every week because that's what people want. People that want nostalgia, people that are still subscribing to radio, they want curated playlists, but they want to hear this stuff keep rotating. They don't want these super uber deep cuts that weren't even hits from the 70s or the 80s or from pop, 90s pop. They want to hear the hits. So if you are a crate digger, if you are deep into different rare stuff, support the live tracks, or find another way to do it. You can send your feedback to the SiriusXM, but there's no upside for DMB management to give away the house, whether that's fair or not. There's no upside for them to play a full live tracks because but DMB Mamas, I'm on DMB Family on Facebook. That's what people are saying. People in DMB Family are saying, and people in every direction, they're saying that they want this, and not everybody, but there are fans that are making these critiques. And that's what I'm saying. And a lot of people in DMB Family, they want the station to be permanent, and they're like, oh, we're going to protest and leave and petition. And the petition worked for it to come back, but only to come back during the touring season. This thing is gone after touring season. So there are people, especially in maybe DMB, not the hashtag on Twitter, but on the Facebook DMB Family page, so many people are like, yeah, we need to have a petition. I don't foresee DMB Radio being a full-time station. It really doesn't. There's no upside for it. They want fans to be engaged during the touring, and they want to bring some fans back to buy lawn tickets and fill up some empty seats and lower demand shows by saying, hey, people on XM who used to listen to DMB, they have a family, come back. And it is DMB Mamas, it is a little bit different, yeah. On the Twitter, but anyway, that's what I have as far as Sirius XM, and we'll visit that at the end. Now I want to talk about Live Tracks 42. I want to start off with A Dream So Real, DMB Mamas. I know you wanted to talk about that. This Live Tracks 42 starts off with a Dream So Real. I mean, this live, and I know it's picked as a live track because it's a special show, but that song is so beautiful. And I don't know, will they bring it back? I don't know, but if there's a time to bring it back, you don't need, now there's a violin in it. This is a song that's piano heavy. And you can fill in some stuff here and there. If you turn Buddy up, and it's soulful and like ballad bluesy, like this is in Buddy's wheelhouse, Dave could still probably do this. Unless there's something vocally, like some of the stuff that's there is a little difficult. But I can't imagine going to a show in getting a dream so real to open up a show, like people thinking, oh, what is it gonna be? One Sweet World, or The Stone, or That Girl Is You, or any song that typically opens up, and you get a dream so real, you get the piano keys starting. That was a heck of a thing to start off a show with. Let me look at the let me look at the playlist that we have for this. And they have A Dream So Real, PNP into Rapunzel, Every Day, Loving Rings, Wings, Jane, Cornbread is at the sixth spot, and then Ehe at the seven. Crush, Sister, If I Had It All, Sweet Up and Down, Gray Street, Shotgun, Dancing Nancy, So Much to Say, Anyone See the Bridge Too Much, Gravedigger, Bayou, and To Marching. Just wow, the middle of this set is amazing. A mid-set sister to If I Had It All, the Sweet Up and Down, the Gray Street Shotgun, Nancy's to the So Much to Say Bridge Too Much. I mean, that's just overwhelming. When do you go to the bathroom? There's no Jimmy thing, and that's not disrespect the Jimmy thing. Well, it kind of is, but I mean, there's no like this show is just spectacular. And what I would want from this show, I'm not expecting them to have a run like this, even at the Gorge. And if they do, hey, by all means, band, if you guys want to do this exact same set, I wouldn't be mad. Oh, darn, they're doing live track 42 in its entirety. Oh, shoot, I already know what they're going to play. No, I'd still be happy. But one of the things about this show, and it's from 2007 in West Palm Beach, where hey DMB set list, nice to see you on here. But it's in West Palm Beach. But this is the first guys. This is the first night. This is night one of night two, and the night two set list on DMB Almanac. These were after the Gore. This was a unique year where they, for some years, they did play like 2000. Harper was after the Gore. They went to the East Coast, and they go back. They go to Florida, and it's not the humid summer. September is still warm in Florida, but it's not as bad as June and July and parts of August. And they could have had a hurricane. I think that's where the risk is too. Thankfully, they didn't have a hurricane. Imagine that. Like they had this settlers plan, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, there's a hurricane coming off the coast. Oh, I guess we're not playing a Dream Soar opener ever." Like that would be tragic. But the Dream So Real. And then one thing, if you look on my Twitter, I was talking about this. Some of the stuff they do in this live tracks is more important than the songs they're playing, and the songs they're playing are amazing. I love Ehe, and I've heard it back in 2012. Crush, Sister is cool. I like it better in the mid set than at the end, but it's still a cool little song there. And then, but If I Had It All, there is a piano intro. Now let me go to the almanac because I found out. So Dave had to change his shirt because it is Florida. So Dave changes his shirt during If I Had It All. So Butch plays like he plays this like piano intro, which I would love to see at the Gorge. Buddy Strong just playing those keys at the beginning. So this is a 10-minute and 46-second If I Have It All. It was a tour debut at the end of the tour. Again, September 14, 2007 in West Palm Beach. So they have that, okay? And then after all of this, they do a Sweet Up and Down, which has an extended outro. And the cool thing is you hear Dave's guitar just strumming really, really hard. And like you can hear it fully. There's no Tim, and then Tim comes in the next year. There's no Tim playing over him. It's just at the end, Dave like a little acoustic type thing. And then some of the band comes in at the end to finish on that last note hit. Then you have a Gray Street, which is you can hear Dave's guitar in the mix. And some of that may have been edited, but you can fully hear Dave's guitar. And then you have a Shotgun, which is just, I mean, it's not Hershey Park Shotgun, but it's just a beautiful version of Shotgun. And you have a reprise outro. So you have Rashawn and Leroy playing. Sorry, I can't sing. I may be out of tune, but it's so light and precise. The staccato there, and just the tone is perfect. And then they end it. They just end on, they're like, you think, like, you're like, wow, I just got shotgun, and then the horn and sax come back in. And then a Nancy to so much to say the bridge too much, and a Gravedigger by you. It's Marshall. And the Gravedigger is Dave solo, which is really cool too. So he starts off Dave solo Gravedigger, so it's just very raw and just him. Now, Bayou, no, not the best song in the world, but when you're having a show like this, whatever, and it's a 3-song encore, then you get the Ants. So, I mean, it's just solid. And what do you think DMB Sellers, if you can remember Live Tracks 42? I mean, I think this is one of the great ones. And just, there's not a lot of 2007 that we get from Live Tracks releases. So it's cool to hear this. This is the last year before Leroy kind of, has that tragic accident. And, then he passed away in 2008. So, I mean, I think it's just a great, great Live Tracks. And one of the things that this is why I think this is Leroy to me. I know we have Jeff and he was replaced, but to me, Leroy, just what he did from a sound aspect. He ran the sound of this band before Dave started taking over and gave a little bit to Rashawn. In this recording, you still have Rashawn playing, but Rashawn's newer, so he's not doing as much. But Rashawn is softer in the outro of the Shotgun, of other stuff. And Rashawn is a world-class, talented musician. I mean, this dude is one of the best that you're going to see on any stage for trumpet or any sort of brass horns. But he can be too loud. He can be too squealy. I know that's part of the trumpet skill set. And I grew up playing in bands, symphonic bands. So I know, and then some people did jazz band. I would watch them. I wasn't in the jazz band or marching band because I played hockey. Didn't have enough time. Anyway, I would listen to them at my concerts. The jazz, some of my friends from symphonic band, honors band, they would have a jazz band. And, you have that type of, funky noise sounds. But to me, Rashawn is a great, great. He's done a lot of great things to help since Leroy's passed. But the noise of the horn, the noise of the sax, the way it was before Leroy passed and the way it is now, it's just too excessive at times. There should be times where they're out playing loud. The horn should be proud and vibrant, but there's times where, chill, homie, chill. It's too loud. You're talented, but it's too loud. And this is what I like about this recording. You have a great street where you hear Dave's guitar. Some of that's the mix, but some of that's the sound of the band. And I mean, you have just a great balance of sound that you don't get. Benny Adams, yeah, that new Mayor Stapleton song. And I did a video. I don't know if you saw that, Benny Adams, but I have a video on that. This Week in John Mayer, not the one I just uploaded, but if you go back to last week, last Sunday it was uploaded. That one breaks down that song. And the cool thing about that Mayor Stapleton song is it has great. It's written well. It's more of a country song where it has a cool little quick message, but it has great, just great sounds to it. And it's not a generic country song. It's a really cool, authentic country. Like it's a cool song overall. And I would love to see it on something. A new Chris Stapleton project or a John Mayer EP or some sort of single. I would love to hear it. And those are just two artists, which I said on the video, Chris Stapleton and John Mayer. I know this is a DMB stream, but Chris Stapleton and John Mayer, I mean, they're two cats that, to me, I'd rather see more than DMB. And now I go to more DMB shows a year, and I'm going to the Gorge for DMB. But these are two musicians that are closer. They're in their prime right now. Chris Stapleton is in his prime. John Mayer is in his prime as far as the balance of where he is. When he was younger, he would have better energy. He would be able to play in a different way. It would be more continuum and more deeper cuts from the older stuff. But John Mayer is in his prime right now, in his 40s. And then you remember if you look back to Dave Matthews in the mid 2000s, when he's around John Mayer's age, that's when the band was, now the best music was made at the turn of the century for these Crowded Streets and the Lily White Sessions / Busted stuff. And then, you have Crash and whatever. But to me, before these Crowded Streets, in the OG and Lily White Sessions are the two best recordings of this band. That's where John Mayer is. That's where Chris Stapleton is right now. From Maroon Volume 3, I believe it is, that just came out a couple years ago. And the other versions of stuff that he has from Maroon Volume 1 and 2, just solid cuts as well. But I mean, they are in their prime. If you have a chance to see them, see them. If you had to choose between a nostalgic band like DMB or Billy Joel and Stapleton and Mayer, go see Stapleton and Mayer. I love Billy Joel. I have a poster up there. I love Dave Matthews. I have a poster up there. But go freaking see these artists because they're on fire right now. They are on fire. So we're in a tour break. Another cool stat, I put this on Twitter as well. Thank you to those who follow me on Twitter. If you don't, I noticed that Satellite hasn't been played that much this year. Knock on wood. There's been one Dave and Tim Satellite, and I can't remember if it was 5. I think there's been 5 full band versions of it. This, if you look at calendar year, so you look at a calendar year and you count the songs March or April. Yes, Crashing to me is rarer because the band stopped playing it in the last 10 years. They really, it's been like they weren't, I mean, it's in the last 10 years, at least since 2012, when I started going to shows, it wasn't a thing they played all the time. Now, in 2016, they played it so much, 25th anniversary tour. But Satellite is just crazy played. If you look at the counts from its early, because it was an early song, because when Crash and Me came in 96, Satellite's in the early 90s. I mean, it was more one of those like songs that started off with the band. But this, going into August, we have had the least amount of Satellites played through a calendar year of August when we get to August, dating back to 2013, where there were less Satellites played. So every year between now and 2013, there were already more this is the least amount of Satellites we've had since 2013 in a calendar year. And here's the other thing. They went to Europe. The summer tours are definitely shorter, but when they've already done Europe and they've done a lot of their summer tour, and we have less plays of Satellite. I mean, that's very impressive and a good thing. It's a good thing. And it's a cool stat because sometimes we look at, this song is played, Jimmy Thing is played too much, Don't Drink the Water is played too much, which I agree with both of them. But Satellite is one of those songs that, to me, with the new band, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't. I would love the Live Tracks 31 version of it, which I talked about in the previous stream. But I'd rather just not have it played. And there's stuff that the band does well. So Right is fire with this band. The Louisiana Bayou Breakdown. I wish that was just a song. We have American Baby Intro. The Louisiana Bayou Breakdown gets me so hyped. I don't care about the verses and all that stuff. That can be skipped. It's so repetitive. I like the part, the bridge, where it's like, such a shame. Dun, 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 and then the breakdown. Dun, 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 dun. Like, that part is so heavy energy wise and gets everyone hyped. I think you just make a 3-minute version of that. You call it like the The Louisiana Bayou Hoedown, or anybody seen the Bayou? And you start off with the dun 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 dun. And you do the little dun 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 dun. I would love that, but I don't think that's gonna happen. but, but I would love for that. Yeah. So Live Tracks 31. Um, would love that. Just full album shows. I would love that too because actually one of the things that I wouldn't be mad about now. Wait till I get to the gorge. I'm gonna get to the gorge and then do it next year. One of the most stressful things about DMB is you don't know what you're going to get when any given year. Now, there's Fish and there's the Grateful Dead and there's Humphreys McGee. These bands every year play out the catalog. So you don't know what you're gonna get, but you know that you're gonna, if you go to 2 to 3 shows, you're gonna get some super full. Like your heart is gonna get everything it wants almost. And even if it doesn't get every song you want, you're gonna get a lot of unique songs. The problem with DMB is they don't play the same set. So there may be like SPAC Night 2 this year. It just didn't have the legendary status of other SPAC Nights. So if you drop $500 in tickets for that weekend, you pay $250 each night for seats because you know it's SPAC, and it's one of the nights just isn't as good. Is it worth $250? Now, if you pay face value, hey, it's a DMB show, you're happy. You're at a show for face value. But when you invest in a road trip, and it's not the gorge, because look, at the gorge, my trip to the gorge, I want all this stuff. I'm telling you what I want from the band. When I go to the gorge, I'm just gonna be freaking happy. I'm just gonna be like, look at this view, look at the people that I'm gonna meet, look at the wonderful West Coast laid back vibes instead of the East Coast craziness, which is good and bad. I love a little East Coast attitude here and there from people, a little East Coast aggression, the Italian kind of accents that we have, the New York and Boston accent. But I'm about the West Coast life, the Pacific Northwest laid back, chill vibes that I'm gonna get for these shows. But I do agree, Benny Abs, going back to that. I would love full album shows because at least I know what I'm gonna get. Yesterday I have my Darius Rucker Houston Rodeo shirt when I went to the Houston Rodeo. And I'm not a huge Darius Rucker fan. I like Hootie better, but what was I gonna say? I was wearing my Stevie Wonder Songs in the Key of Life tour shirt where he played the whole album. You knew what you're gonna get, but it was such an experience to know that if they pick an album, I would hope like if they pick Before These Crowded Streets, all right, you are going to be happy, even if you know every single song is going to be played, because there is runs in that are so great. If they play Crash beginning to end, sure, a lot of it can be played throughout a tour, and you're going to get Let You Down. Like, you know, you're going to get it. You're going to show up to this show and know you're going to get Let You Down. And then you can plan your food breaks and your bathroom breaks. So, for instance, Crash. I think Proudest Monkey is a beautiful song. But if I'm listening to the Crash album and I've already heard Proudest Monkey a couple of times, I'm going to get stuff during Proudest Monkey. And I'm going to enjoy it while I'm walking there. But I'm going to go there. If I'm going to the Before These Crowded Streets, I'm probably going to the bathroom during Don't Drink the Water at the beginning, and that's it. Hold it to the end, because at the end of don't at the end of you would never want them to play an album. I just think it's a really cool concept, and I've seen certain artists do that. I've seen J. Cole do that for a couple of his tours. I've seen Stevie Wonder, I think a couple other artists. Um, Roger Waters. I didn't go to the Wall, but I would love him to see the Wall. But you can plan your bathroom, but yeah, you can plan them. I mean, you know, same thing with Busted stuff. Although I would love a little if they play the Lily White sessions. They won't. They won't do it. Then they have to call it Lily White sessions. Um, and the thing is, they would play the album and they'd probably play some cuts after. That's what a lot of artists do. Like J. Cole did that. Stevie Wonder had at the end. He played some of his hits, but I think it just would make you appreciate the music if they talk. See, my thing too is this. Of course, I would love to meet DMB. I love to meet the band and what have you, and whatever. I would love to go to like my local theater and hear Dave talk to someone, or hear Carter talk to someone, or the full band talk to someone. That's kind of what an album show would be. You're getting the experience of the album front to back, and they probably talk about stuff here and there. Stevie Wonder did that. You have like Before You Cry the Streets runs around 70 minutes or so. So you play that, and you play a couple stuff at the end. You play some of your hits maybe, or you play some stuff randomly. I would love that, because here's the thing, and this is why, and I was having on Twitter, I need to stay away from it. But when people talk about Boyd, I miss Boyd and whatever, like da 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 da. And I do too. I mean, look, I wish him the best with his little group. And he sacrificed so much with his band. He had surgery in carpal tunnel because of this band, because he played so much for us. He brought his heart and soul. But to me, there becomes a point where if you go to see an artist X amount of times, yes, you chase this song and that song. I just want to hear different things stand out. That's why I liked Live Tracks 42. Oh, we have this reprise. We have this intro. We have this outro. I would love to see stuff rotate. When Captain came back in 2013, that's really what led me to go to multiple shows a year. I was still going to go to a show a year. When I went to 2013 and I got Captain, and I got Spoon, and I got Dreaming Tree, and I got Broken Things, and I got JTR in a 2-night stand in Hartford, and Boa, right? Yeah, the Captain reprise in Alpine. Oh Lord Jesus, I have that on the extended tracks. I listen to that thing when I'm running, and it picks up again. Like that thing is lit. That thing is lit. But the thing is, I know people are stuck on the violin and Boyd. When I listen to a band, oh, you was there. Of course you was in the pit, John. Of course you was in the pit, man. You lucky son of a gun. I was at home waiting for the Live Track 36 to come out. but I like to hear different parts of a song. So for instance, I have not seen Bob Weir and Wolf Bros. It just my budget didn't allow for it. I picked all this other stuff. But I loved listening to a live stream of Bob Weir and the Wolf Bros, hearing Estimated Profit without Jerry's parts really being played. And you hear more of like the bass lines, you hear more of Bob's parts. I like Dave and Tim because, first of all, you can hear Dave's guitar, which you can't hear in the mix for the full band for certain songs. And sometimes you can, but you only can hear a little pick scratch in the strings. Like Gray Street, you can't hear Dave's guitar anymore. I mean, you can hear it a little bit, but it's still the horn. Yo, chill, Rashawn, chill. So, but I like different experiences, even if it's not fully what I was going there for. I like different experiences of different sounds standing out, different sounds being moved. Now, of course, if there's like the price I would pay for a show where there is a violin at it, and it's the full Dave Matthews Band experience versus like, all right, there's no violin now, we have Buddy, or there's no violin. Like, there's a different asking price for a DME show without a violin. But there's certain shows with Buddy, it's like, oh, he's doing his Raven intro and outro. But the point is that I think that part of being a music fan, I like seeing different things. I saw Humphreys McGee without the legend Jake Cunninger, which is their lead guitarist. Now, this was like a $15 show that I paid for, but it was very unique. Joshua Redman, who's guested with the band. Yeah, and John's right. Buddy made the Stones sound almost as good. And the thing is, if he has more freedom to play the violin, I call those the church strings, because in the black church, in the Baptist church, there's this string piano preset that everyone plays with, and that's what Buddy's kind of using for the Stone. If he used that throughout the entire show, he can't create some of the little that Boyd is doing during the verse, but just the beginning of that and some of the other parts, dun 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 dun, during the chorus, He could do that on the keys, and it would make it just as good. Not the same, but it would be filling in that space. So I mean, I support, and the thing is, they don't turn Buddy up loud enough. John, you could probably speak on this, but the shows I've been to, sometimes you hear him, sometimes you don't. You can hear his organ, but his keys are not turned up. Okay, don't drink the water. I would love for him to be more of a highlight. Get Tim off the freaking electric guitar. I guess it does depend on that too, John. But even some of the mixes, like the Sirius XM mixes, you don't hear Buddy like you hear Butch. When you Butch like, and plus there wasn't like an electric guitar because you saw what happened with the mixes are weird, but you could hear Butch like the live tracks 42 I listened to today. You hear Butch, and but you see though at the same time, like Butch played at that concert for Charlottesville, but the horns were so loud and Tim was so loud, you didn't even know Butch was there. He was like invisible. He was ghosted. He was ghosted by the other instrument. So just the interesting thing there. And again, with all of this said, I am excited to go to the Gorge. I'm excited to go to shows now. Now that I've met some of you guys, John, we already know that we're gonna try to link up at some point. And D&B Mamas, if I'm ever in Florida, I will hit you up because I think I'm having the itch to go back to the beaches in March or April, but I'll let you know because what I've been doing and what I'm planning to do, as long as I have the resources to do it, I love this idea of going to beaches off peak, meaning you go in the spring. First off, it's not as humid. Second off, there ain't nobody there. I went to Virginia Beach the week before, something in the water. Okay, no, John. You know what? I may have to do this. I may have to do. I don't know. This is already pinching my budget already. The Gorge trip, but and so John and we had looked at the poster collectors. People are selling. People are selling these posters for $1,200, and people are buying them. And look, art is what you make of it. The poster behind me, I don't. Well, this is different because it's not a custom print, but this poster behind me is an Allman Brothers poster where you had to go. Let me go to the. Hold on. The poster behind me is poster number 63 of 2000. Okay. 63 of 2000 from the last ever run for the Allman Brothers Band as a band ever. Now, it may not, because it's not a custom print, this was just it has all the dates of the final run in October. I went to the first one. But like, it could possibly be something that if my grandkids held on to it and some museum wants it or something, I don't know, maybe not. You never know with these things. And plus, it's not a custom print. So D&B every show, as you guys know, has a special print. But these posters are selling, and part of it is the demand because you have Abbott Brother posters that are just as good and better, but the demand for the posters isn't as big. You know what's funny? The Abbott Brothers posters have less. They have less posters that they print out per print at certain shows. And John saying it's crazy to see the merch employees scalping posters at the shows. I can see that too because there's a lot of money, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sperry and some of these other people that have these in demand people are thirsty. Like Instagram, you have people thirsting over these Instagram models and DMing them. People are thirsting over certain artist posters when they're set to do a D&B show, and I wouldn't be surprised if, as much as these artists are complaining, I wouldn't be surprised if they already are doing this, or they may do it where they have a burner account, or they have like each time they sell a poster, because one poster is netting you $2,000. If it's a really really popular one, like the lemonade one that they have, it's a lemonade like mason jar. You make a fake couple of fake accounts, and then you sell other stuff on it, and seems like it's another account, and you scalp it or you hand it to someone else. This is what Ticketmaster was doing with Madison Square Garden was doing this with brokers. They could, I mean, you could have an artist who gives it to a friend to post on their thing, and they say, hey, give me 50% of the profit. I'll give it to you for free. You post it on your thing. We split the profit 50-50. They have a gentleman's agreement or a deal. It could be their friend, their girl, their brother, their side chick. They could have them just post it on their thing. It's no cost, and you split the profit with someone, 500 and 500 each. I wouldn't be surprised if I now allegedly, I'm again, I have to say allegedly because I ain't trying to get myself in trouble. But trust me, I'm not selling posters. If I was, then I wouldn't have to worry about how expensive this gorge trip is costing. So yeah, John Dix is saying dudes were scalping it that worked at it at the merch stand. But I mean, if someone sees the market for DMB and you're one of those popping artists, forget re-release or forget reissue. Take a couple of those prints. Forget the merch guy. Just keep it at your, keep some of them for yourself. Now maybe they have to check it in some regulations, but they have to be delivered and like signed for. But take a couple of those extra prints and just again post them online like a year from now. Because people are thirsting after some of these prints. We'll make you an Ad Content Posters 34 t-shirt and have to while you scout. Yeah. But and look, artists, what you make it, and there's some artists, as people who have the premium yellow bags that sell you one of those. Oh, right, because they get two posters. Yeah, the premium. And I mean, at this point, a premium package, if you have the capital, that's the thing, is you got to have the capital to be able to. Riverbend, Deer Creek 912 expand. Oh, that's how you got your posters. Allegedly. Remember, John, allegedly. Be careful. Allegedly, that's how you got your posters. Yeah, be careful. But it's crazy to see these posters are selling. A Toronto poster sold for $1,200 today. And then someone put up a poster that sold for a rack for $1,000 or more, over $1,000 last week. Because me and John were joking on the post, and the one of the moderators was like, "Yo, hey, chill. This post is sold for like over this asking price of six. It was at 1,600." And he's like, "Something sold well over this." I was like, "Oh my God, that's more concerning than the fact that I was joking and ragging on the price." Like you paying $2,000 for a DMB poster? Huh? You might as well get some real art. And that's the thing is, look, these artists put work into what they do. But I'm talking like if someone who does like a watercolor art or a limited edition press or like a physical painting, that's something where okay, this piece of art is beautiful. Now I don't have any art like that in my crib. I have concept, but to drop $2,000, yeah, people do have money to blow, and that's the thing is, and if all it takes is one person to buy it, and that's where people are like, don't buy scalper tickets, don't buy this and that. There's some dude or some woman who is working hard for their money. They have extra money to blow. People only have 1 or 2 kids now. Some people have no kids. My aunts all have no kids, and they got money to blow. Now, when I came over as a kid, they're like, this child is costing me a lot. I'm like, yeah, this is what would happen if you had children. But long story short, they have money to blow because they don't have any dependents. They're not married. They're single. Although one of my aunts got married late. But the point is, there's people that have extra income. Now, people are struggling in America. There's people with money. There's people that are making good money. And yeah, it is capitalism. You can't knock the hustle. I don't like some of the shortcuts of how tickets are fed through. How much do warehouse premium fans sell their posters to at the show? John could probably answer that. I don't like some of the stuff as far as where I don't like hoarding of tickets. And John was telling me about SPAC and people having these aren't even brokers. These are DMB fans who just record tickets in at the last minute. That's what messes me up. People, DMV fans buy a bunch of tickets they know they can't go to. They got 3 or 4 kids. One kid got a dance recital. One kid's in football practice. Another kid is at a baseball camp for Sandy Alomar or something like, or Mariana Rivera's camp. And their husband or wife comes up to him and it's like, honey, that baseball camp doubled their price this year. Oh, I can't go to this show. I got to sell my tickets. They sell them the day before the show. Okay, so John said he got all but one for face value. Spent 85 for Alpine Night 2. Okay, just ask nice. Allegedly. Okay, just in case. So yeah, I think you just got to talk to people, make friends, see what you can do. And then, again, the market is what it is. If someone's going to buy it, buy it. But for me, I could never, the buying of posters I've never been to. Now, if it's a show I've been to and I just didn't get the poster that day, that's one thing. I think I would hold value to that. Same thing with the recorded. But people buying, I don't get the poster buying for stuff where you weren't even at the freaking show. There's some that are pretty dope the Mason jar one, that's pretty lit. But anything that's on my, a lot of people getting seat upgrades last minute and sell back the pavilion. Yeah, I've seen that. I got my friend. I should have been more aggressive, but my friend got seats in the lower pavilion, and I was trying to sell my bleacher seats below face, just at a Mantle show last year, and no one bought it on DMV Family and a couple other forums for ticket warehouse boards. I put it up there, and people in every direction, and ants marching as well. And no one bought it, but the bleacher seats are sitting on the lawn, and I think I lowered my price down to 50 or 40, which is a steal compared to they were selling for 85. But I got better seats. I'm like, I'll take what I can get. And I did this for the week before. It wasn't the last minute thing. Oh wow! But yeah, the poster game is crazy. That's all I think I'm going to talk about today, unless you guys have any other questions, any other things. But it's been about an hour. I gotta get off here. Twitter stalkers. What's up, John? Oh, the Twitter stalkers. Yeah, yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe we'll talk about that next time. The Twitter stalkers, but yeah. Yeah, let's try. Yeah, maybe next time. But yeah, there's definitely people trying to go heavy on the band. Oh, by the way, Buddy Strong has T-shirts, which I don't know if they'll be able to ship in time. I gotta check. I don't know if I'll have one in time for the Gorge, but there's Be Strong shirts now. They're $30, so it's a pretty penny. But it's Buddy Strong, so I think I'm gonna support because it's Buddy. No 3X. John, you need a 3X? Oh, you want a tank version? Yeah, it's just black and white. Benny Adams, I'm not, but I know John Dix is watching. John has said he was going to be watching UFC. Yeah, I respect the martial arts and boxing. I just never grew up in a family that watched boxing. I'm a huge football. I love physical stuff, football and hockey. Two of my favorite sports. But I respect boxing and UFC, the mixed martial arts. That stuff, the training that you have to do, just the look, and people think, oh, he got knocked out, you got this. The training and the dips and the jabs and you run 6 miles and then you lift this amount and then you work on your jab and you work on your footwork. These guys are literally killing machines. The UFC in some of these other leagues, the Bellator, the mixed martial arts, I respect it. I mean, I know a couple people who have done amateur MMA, jiu-jitsu, and some other stuff. I mean, the training you have to go through and the balance of your weight and the skill, like I respect. And really, they talk about football. I mean, these fights, you're risking a lot. Not only just your brain and everything in your body, but I mean, you may only have a certain amount of fights. Like every fight, football, every game in football means something, but in mixed martial arts and boxing, every single match can be the difference between, like, I see so many people now that are leaving the U. They're on their final fight of their UFC contract, and if they win this jump, Bellator or someone else is going to give them the bank, the Brinks truck. It's their final fight under like one of them, and if they win that, boom, I mean the cash could start flowing in. If they lose that fight, it may be time to hang it up. Like it is, I think that the stakes of some of these fights, the preparation that I've seen, there's a couple people here in the greater Hartford area that box and do different stuff. And that's a big thing. New England, I mean, Providence, Boston, New York, and even Hartford has had some people, not as big as the other big major cities, but like the Northeast coast, I mean, boxing was just something that people did. They're very scrappy cities here in the Northeast. Um, and there's a very big thing. And now MMA is becoming that thing now too, with some of the kids. I'm 28, and some of them, their dads were into boxing, and they were too. And now they're into the mixed martial arts. Now that it's been, UFC used to be the Wild West, and then they controlled it and really got it to be more of a competitive thing versus just a bunch of people just going nuts. Anyway, yes, I say that to say I have limited knowledge of the mixed martial arts, but I respect what I've read on the training, what I've read on what it takes. I respect it. That's all I got for today. It's your boy Conservist 34. I will see you guys later. Peace.